in a world where political figures constantly dominate the media landscape. One name has managed to stay both a lightning rod for controversy and an unavoidable presence in global headlines: Donald Trump. From his rise to the presidency to his legal woes, Trump has garnered an unmatched level of media attention. However, while his every move is scrutinized by the media, not all coverage is created equal. Jon Stewart, a veteran comedian commentator and former host of The Daily Show, has made it a point to criticize the way cable news outlets have chosen to cover Trump, particularly during his ongoing hush money trial. In his distinctively sardonic style, Stewart has repeatedly called out the media for what he perceives as a calculated attempt to sanitize or sensationalize certain aspects of Trump's life and legal troubles. The controversy surrounding the hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels is just one chapter in a much larger narrative of media manipulation, polarization, and hypocrisy. Stewart's critique underscores not only the role of cable news in shaping public perceptions of Trump, but also the broader implications of how media outlets operate in today's hyper-partisan environment. Trump and the media, a long-standing relationship. The relationship between Donald Trump and the media is nothing new. From his days as a real estate mogul and reality TV star to his time in office, Trump has often been a fixture in the news cycle. His controversial statements, brash demeanor, and unorthodox political approach have consistently made him a subject of both fascination and ridicule. The media, in turn, has seized on these moments to fill hours of coverage, often casting Trump as both a villain and a savior depending on the outlet's political leanings. However, Stewart, whose tenure as the host of The Daily Show spanned nearly 2 decades, has always maintained a critical distance from the sensationalized coverage of political figures. His comedy was rooted in a dissection of media behavior as much as it was a critique of the politicians they covered. Under his watch, The Daily Show became a platform for pointing out the absurdities in how news organizations treated political events and figures, particularly when it came to issues of bias, sensationalism, and false equivalency. In the case of Donald Trump, Stewart has been especially vocal about the media's tendency to treat Trump as a source of constant entertainment, often downplaying or ignoring the more serious aspects of his legal entanglements in favor of sound bites and scandal. This was especially evident when the hush money trial first began to make headlines. The hush money scandal, a case of media overshadowing legal integrity. In 2016, during the height of the presidential campaign, Trump was accused of paying off Stormy Daniels to prevent her from going public, with claims of an affair she had with him years earlier. The controversy surrounding these payments led to investigations into whether they violated campaign finance laws, as well as whether they were part of a broader pattern of corruption or unethical behavior. The hush money scandal, often referred to as the Stormy Daniels affair, became one of the most talked about legal issues during Trump's time in office. It was a story that had everything: sex, money, secrecy, and of course, a former president caught in the midst of a criminal investigation. Yet despite the gravity of the allegations, many mainstream media outlets focused more on the salacious details rather than the legal implications. Stewart pointed out that this was part of a larger pattern of cable news treating Trump's legal and ethical issues with a mixture of flippancy and fascination. Networks like CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC dedicated hours of airtime to discussing Trump's interactions with Daniels, but not always in a way that seriously addressed the legal ramifications of the case. For Stewart, this was indicative of a broader failure of the media to maintain any sense of accountability when covering the former president. Cable news doesn't cover Trump the way they would any other person involved in such a scandal. They turn it into entertainment, Stewart remarked on a segment of The Daily Show. Where's the outrage? Where's the sober reporting? We've got a former president potentially involved in a crime, And yet here we are discussing it like it's a storyline on The Bachelor. The comedy of media distortion. One of Stewart's signature techniques on The Daily Show was his ability to expose the contradictions and inconsistencies in the media's coverage of major events. Trump's hush money scandal was no different. Stewart dissected the way cable news outlets treated the story with a blend of sensationalism and farcical detachment, often disregarding the legal context in favor of scandalous headlines. Stewart took particular issue with how some news organizations would present the story in a way that shifted the focus away from the actual criminal aspects of the case. For instance, some outlets obsessed over the personal lives of those involved, including the graphic nature of the alleged affair, rather than discussing the serious legal violations that might have occurred. Why is the media obsessed with the affair, but not the fact that a sitting president was allegedly paying hush money to influence an election? That's the real question here, Stewart said, mocking the absurdity of the media's priorities. I mean, I don't care about the details of his personal life, I want to know if a crime was committed. In Stewart's view, cable news networks were more interested in maintaining their ratings than in providing clear, substantive coverage of the story. Instead of delving into the intricacies of campaign finance law or the potential ramifications of Trump's alleged actions, the media chose to focus on the scandalous details, sensationalizing every aspect of the story for maximum drama.